Ladies and gentlemen, the results are in. Donald Trump has won the US election, and either him winning itself or the uncertainty that has been cleared up by the election being processed and finished has led to a massive rally across the markets. We'll discuss this today in specifics. We'll also discuss the big question: is Bitcoin now confirmed to be in the next leg of the bull market? Is it time to rush into the market? All those questions will be answered today. We'll look into Bitcoin, we'll look into Ethereum, we'll look into the S&P 500 briefly as well, and we'll look into the 4-year cycle as a whole, and we'll look into Bitcoin dominance and altcoins. We'll try and do a broad analysis, and I'll try to keep it as quick as possible. There's no point sitting here for 30 minutes discussing it. We've got some points to make, and we'll make them very concisely. So before we get into it, guys, go down in the comment section, leave a comment, chuck an emoji down there, or do it at the end of the video. It helps out the algorithm, takes 30 seconds of your time. And one more thing I'll mention is the Bitcoin exchange and the Blowfin exchange. These are the two exchanges I advertise on my YouTube channel. The referral links are down below. They are both global non-KYC. They have both never been hacked before. They've both got hundreds of trading pairs. I use Bitcoin personally, and with my referral link down below on Bitcoin, you can get a 15% trading fee discount for life on the exchange. Blowfin's an alternative option. Check out those exchanges down below. Let's get into the content. So I was watching the US election yesterday, and I will say this, right? The market's moved up. I mean, it's ridiculous how much the market has moved up. The S&P 500 bouncing incredibly off of the prior all-time high, seeing a resistance support flip off of that level. Incredible bounce here. Massive amount of points being gained, over 250 points being gained in the S&P 500. Bitcoin did a similar thing. It was in a place of massive uncertainty just yesterday, and we've come all the way upwards from that uncertainty, from 66K region. And by the end of the day yesterday, by the end of that election, we were up all the way up 14% to around 76,000, moved upwards close to 10,000 US dollars in a very short period of time, just over 24 hours. So there definitely was a pump due to the US election. The question is, was it due to the uncertainty being cleared up, or was it due to the Trump victory? I think it's a bit of both, personally. I think even if you're looking past policy, we can look into Kamala's tax plan, we can look into unrealized capital gains and the negative effects that would have had on the market. Massive selling pressure from unrealized capital gains taxes, even on just, people with 100 million net worth plus, which is what our plan was. That would lead to the market makers, as people say, selling off massive amounts of assets, leading to a domino effect and massive liquidity problems. Regardless of any of that, even if we're looking at it from a sentiment level, which I think we'll focus on a little bit here, most people in financial markets, specifically in crypto, favor Trump, all right? So therefore, if Kamala got elected, okay, most people in financial markets who control the market, because people control the market, money controls the market, would have been bearish, would have sold off, would have got more bearish in the future, and hence markets would have declined. So you don't even really need to get political. You don't even really need to look at policy. Just look at a broad, objective sentiment, factual analysis. If most people favor one candidate, that candidate winning is going to be good for the markets that most people control. Okay? Very simple. But that's enough on the election, guys. The Trump pump, I'll call it, took place regardless of what it was from, regardless if it was from him winning directly or just the uncertainty being cleared up of the election being gone. There was a pump, I should say, that took place. Very massive pump. And I did a community poll yesterday. I said, the Trump pump has taken place. What's next for Bitcoin? Okay, 48% of you think we're going to be seeing a regular 4-year cycle bull market. 43% of you think we're going to be seeing a bull market with an early top. But only 9% of people right now in my entire YouTube community, that being said, it's only 1,000 votes, but it's still a pretty good sample size. Only 9% of you think we're going to be seeing a bear market here. So the vast majority, over 90% of people, are bullish, and there's reason for that. Bitcoin has broken out. Now, okay, here's where we get into, has Bitcoin seen confirmation? And then after that, we'll get into the altcoin market, right? So this is an interesting question. So if we're being very pedantic, if we're being very specific, very objective, and very pedantic, technically speaking, this is not breakout confirmation, okay? And I can't just flip on that. I can't just change my mind about what the charts objectively say. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't buy. That's not what I'm saying. In fact, I think probably, I'm not going to say what you need to do, but I think this is very, very likely to be a real breakout. But I just have to remain true to what the charts say. Technically speaking, 69K is a critical weekly chart level. It is the all-time high from 2021. It is the level we closed right on top of on the March all-time high breakout. It's the level we closed right on top of last week and the week before that. Okay, it is a weekly chart resistance. It is the macro level from 2021. It's a weekly chart level. It's not a daily chart level. Okay, it's not a 4-hourly chart level. Okay, we haven't seen the weekly candle close. Therefore, the weekly chart level is not broken. It's really as simple as that. And we saw the same thing last week. You know, we went all the way up to 74K, but the weekly candle had not closed, therefore there was no weekly chart breakout. We retraced right back down, okay? So technically speaking, if you want that 100% full confirmation, you really do need to see that weekly candle close. But with that said, given how far we are now on Bitcoin to the upside, you know, I wouldn't blame people for not being, you know, so keen to wait for that weekly candle. I mean, this is a big move right here, not only on Bitcoin, on traditional markets as well. I can't sit here and say it's 100% confirmed move. It's not confirmed in the charts. It's not, but that doesn't mean it's not likely to be confirmed. So 3 days and 22 hours until the weekly candle close, and that will be full confirmation. Until then, it is still an unconfirmed breakout just by objective TA. But again, that doesn't mean it's not likely to be confirmed. It certainly is. Now, everything looks really good in these charts. I will say this, though. There is one thing I'm a little bit concerned about, and that is the Bitcoin daily chart, okay? The daily chart RSI specifically. If you look at the Bitcoin daily chart RSI, what you'll see is a pattern here, an ascending wedge type pattern. Maybe an ascending channel, but probably an ascending wedge. There is a slight, you know, they're not perfectly parallel lines. They are slightly directed towards each other, right? Perpendicular, I believe is the word. Anyway, the point is, if you look at the last few retests of support on the daily chart RSI, what you'll notice is they occurred at the same time as major price support retests on the recent Bitcoin structures. So I'm circling a few moments here. Look what I'm circling. Very, very important moments, right? So every single support retest in that daily chart RSI structure has led to a major low within the upwards trend on Bitcoin. And similarly, every single resistance retest, especially the last three, has led to a major high on the Bitcoin upwards trend. Now, the problem with Bitcoin right now is that we are in a breakout. We're doing very, very well in price. We have broken all-time highs. We're blasted through all-time highs, actually. But Bitcoin is coming close up again to this daily chart RSI level. And if it reaches that daily chart RSI level, there is a risk of another correction and a retest of a lower part of the upwards trend, potentially something like 69K. I don't think it would lead to a structural breakdown. I think the charts are pretty good right now, but given the fact that there is not full weekly chart confirmation and we do have this lurking threat, you know, there is a little bit of a concern to be had there. It's something we need to watch very, very closely. We have not seen the rejection yet. We have not seen a breakdown yet of any sort, but my concern is that we go upwards a little bit more. We retest the high level, reject from that level, come downwards and break the entire RSI structure and then see a deep correction. And that could be a little bit concerning. Now, I'm not sure if that's going to happen. It wouldn't, you know, it's hard to say because we've just broken a very, very major macro channel formation. So it's actually quite difficult to say what will happen here. I don't know personally, especially considering we're in price discovery now. Here's another problem with Bitcoin. Given the fact that we're in price discovery, it's very difficult to know what's going to happen because we have no historical data in this price region. We have nothing. Now, Bitcoin in the short term, in my view, is seeing patterns of exhaustion. But it's very, very early to say. This is the 15-minute chart. I can't make any really concrete claims about it. What I can say is this, okay? If we're talking macro, we're talking about a macro breakout. We take the first retest of the channel formation that we've just broken, right? From the top side all the way to the first retest of the bottom side, and we go ahead and apply that to the breakout point. That brings us to a target of around 84,000 on Bitcoin, okay? So that is the next macro confirmed target. We also will note that there is something called the 5.3 theory, which we'll discuss in a dedicated video tomorrow, which suggests that Bitcoin will top out around 79,000, which is something to be watching very closely as well. Again, I'm not saying that will happen. I personally actually don't think it will, but it is going to be a resistance zone we need to watch. We'll discuss that tomorrow as well. So although we're in price discovery, we do have some macro targets. One of them is 84K based on the breakout of the measured move of this channel. One of them is 79K based on the 5.3 theory, which we'll discuss tomorrow. But right now, between 74K, which is our prior all-time high, and 79K, which is 5.3, we have no data. I mean, it's just like no man's land. We're just going to have to see what happens to the price. We really don't have any data at all. Now, Ethereum is not broken out yet. It's on the very brink of a breakout, right? It's on the verge. And you know, we kind of need to be seeing an Ethereum breakout here again to really confirm that Bitcoin breakout. I hate to sit here and kind of be the bearer of bad news. I feel like I'm being a bit of a party pooper. Again, I'm very confident that Bitcoin isn't a macro breakout here. I'm very confident the macro is very much intact and in a good position. But I can't just sit here and ignore charts. I mean, Ethereum is at a critical rejection point. Look at the red box there. Look at the support this has held in the past, the resistance in the past. We're right in the middle of that red box. There's no breakout on Ethereum. And of course, Bitcoin and Ethereum generally foreshadow each other. And with them generally foreshadowing each other, you're going to have to see both of them in the clear in order to be 100% certain that the breakout has occurred. Again, you can try and front run it. You can try and predict it, but it's not going to be confirmation. So to summarize my views on Bitcoin, I think we are very likely in a macro breakout here. It is not quite confirmed, but that confirmation is looking very, very likely, and maybe you try and front run the confirmation. And maybe, instead of waiting for the confirmation itself, maybe you get in now and then sell if you don't have the confirmation and cop the small loss. There's many ways you can play it. So I'm not sitting here saying that you cannot buy. That's not what I'm saying at all. It depends on your risk tolerance at the end of the day. But markets look good. There's no doubt about that. Massive pumps upon the election result. And one more thing I'll mention that is good for the markets is the fact that Bitcoin, I'll actually mention two more things, has fully reconnected at this point to the 4-year cycle, okay? We know the 4-year cycle is the strongest trend Bitcoin has. It's an umbrella trend with many, many micro trends inside of that larger umbrella trend. We know for a fact that Bitcoin, generally speaking, has taken 1,100 days to go from an all-time high in the bull market to breaching that all-time high in the next cycle. We know that Bitcoin front-run that. This cycle, it took 850 days instead of 1,100. Okay, so 250 days earlier than expected, Bitcoin broke all-time highs. And to compensate for us moving much faster, much earlier than expected, Bitcoin consolidated much longer than expected, about 230 days of consolidation. And now we have broken out. And guess what? If we're taking the 2021 all-time high as gospel, we have broken out right in that 1,100 day range, which is typical of the 4-year cycle. Hence, we are back on track to where we need to be on a cyclical level. Bitcoin is reconnected to the 4-year cycle. And at this point in time, there is no reason to doubt that the 4-year cycle is what is going to play out because there is nothing against it at this point. So regular 4-year cycle is back on the table. That's exceptional news for Bitcoin. It also allows us to make some assertions about the altcoin market. Because we are back on track with the regular 4-year cycle, we can look at how altcoins have acted historically in relation to Bitcoin bull markets and extrapolate that forward to this cycle. What we know for a fact is that when Bitcoin breaks its prior cycle all-time high, that is basically when altcoin season begins. Okay, so you look at the last two cycles, Bitcoin broke its all-time high around here in January. Bitcoin dominance in red started dropping massively in January. Bitcoin broke its all-time high in December 2020. Bitcoin dominance started dropping massively in late December 2020. So around when Bitcoin breaks its historical all-time high, which right now was 69K from 2021, is when altcoin season generally starts. Okay, and if that's the case, if we're seeing that regular 4-year cycle, that basically means that altcoin season should start more or less around here. Now, it's not confirmed yet. We haven't seen the total 3 breakout. We haven't seen Ethereum breakout. But if that's the macro structure, if that's what the 4-year cycle is implying, fingers crossed, because that means an altcoin season could very well be literally right around the corner. And this is what I discussed very clearly in my video about 5 days ago. I said from a macro perspective, there it is, 6 days ago, altcoin season pretty much starts right now. According to the 4-year cycle, and that's very true. So if we see, next week, Bitcoin still above the channel formation, we see Bitcoin still in the mid 70K region or above, and we see Bitcoin dominance continue to roll over. That's just adding more and more evidence to a regular 4-year cycle with a regular altcoin season topping out late next year, which will be absolutely exceptional because, as we know, it is predictability that makes us money in this market, not necessarily price movements alone. Bitcoin could go to 100K tomorrow. If we can't predict it, we never click to buy, we never make money, okay? So predictability is everything, and the 4-year cycle is the pinnacle of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency predictability. So overall, look, we haven't seen the full confirmation. We can't change that. It's a weekly chart confirmation that's required there. But, by the looks of it here, we're pretty likely to do so. Bitcoin looks very, very good. There are a few threats in the daily chart, for example, the daily chart RSI structure. But that's nothing we can't get over. Like, we've got over worse things before. It's not the end of the world, just something to watch. Ethereum hasn't quite broken out yet, but it's very much on the brink. And maybe, who knows, by tomorrow, maybe it has. So, we'll look into all of this tomorrow in the next couple of days, especially going into that weekly candle. But these markets certainly look good. It's great to see some relief finally. And it looks like the market was certainly waiting for the result of that election. And it's either very happy with the result or it's just happy with the fact that the election's over. And we've seen massive relief here, not only on cryptocurrency, but across financial markets. So great to see. We're one step closer to that real parabolic phase, or potentially even in it, and we just don't know it yet. Guys, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Leave a like, comment, anything you want, emoji, a couple words, a sentence, whatever you want. Helps out the algorithm. I really appreciate it. Before we end it, like usual, the Bitunix and Blowfin exchanges, the two exchanges I advertise on this YouTube channel. I mentioned them at the start of the video. I mention them again at the end of every video. you're interested in getting on a good exchange, use my links down below for trading fee discounts and rewards, global non-KYC, everything you need. It's all there. Check them out. And the last thing I'll mention is the VIP group on Telegram. You can see the trading results in a fully transparent PDF document, 2 years of trading results, 2 years of track record publicly posted there with a 78.32% win rate. Also access to 4 trading plans per week and an exclusive group chat. Everything you need is there. Check it out if you're interested. Subscribe down below, guys. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.